Thursday, June 2nd, 2011, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This is a Nintendo Download Express special report. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. It is a very exciting time right now in the world of downloads for Nintendo platforms. It is, we are on the cusp of it. Close this door. Because at the time I'm recording this, I can't tell anybody this. But when you hear this, I can tell people this. But it's no one can be here with me to hear this now, because I can't. If you can hear, all right, there's no one in here. I saw the eShop. Yeah, I know. I've seen the eShop. I've heard the eShop. I've spoken with representatives for Nintendo about the eShop for the 3DS. This is coming in hot and heavy. We are less than a week away from System Update 1, as they seem to be referring to it internally, which is going to add functionality to your Nintendo 3DS. Namely, the eShop. Electronic shop. That's right. Downloads are coming to another Nintendo platform. And they will be coming next Monday. Next Monday. So we're less than a week out. But I got an early look at it. Visited with some Nintendo folks in San Francisco today, which is technically the first. And got a look at the shop, and I'm going to come out here and say it. It makes the DSiWare store look like a piece of poop out of a butt. Yeah. Like a pile of broken stuff. You look at it and go like, ugh, I gotta throw this away, but what if, I could fix it, but ugh. The eShop. Yeah, it's coming. And I don't want to say it's going to change everything, but it might change. It's going to change everything. 20 items per shelf. That's what they're looking at here. When you get into the shop, you're going to see a lot of hand curated offerings. Basically, the page, the front of the shop here, when you get to it, will be broken out in a lot of different ways, in ways that they can change. There'll be some hard coded ways you'll be able to get at movies and releases for the eShop, and then a lot of ways that will fluctuate as they see fit. Now that's basically when you launch, you'll kind of get to one item, which is kind of the first item. It could be latest releases. It could be an individual game. I'm imagining that on launch day, it could very well be Excite Bike, the 3D classics version of Excite Bike, which has been developed by Arika, the guys that did Street Fighter EX and that Tetris game I liked so much. Have remade Excite Bike, the NES version of Excite Bike in 3D, and it looks pretty cool, and that will be free for 30 days after the launch of the eShop. So, boom, right there, reason to get that update. Get Excite Bike, free. Get a web browser. And then if you scroll to the left from there, will be kind of like your various kind of hard-coded ways to look at it. Like here's the new stuff. Here's the latest updates. Here are they're going to implement a wish list, so you can take a number of items and store them on a list. So if you don't have any money in your wallet, and in your virtual wallet, as it were, your dollars and cents based online Nintendo wallet, you can put these on your wish list, and then when you go get a prepaid points card or go steal a credit card or whatever it is you're going to do to get those funds, you can go right back to those games and purchase them. And they'll be able to put games into the eShop before they've been released. So if you see something you like and want to be, made aware of when it's available, you can put it on your wish list and then check your wish list and see like, oh, it's out this week, and get it that way. And then they'll be able to come up with different ways to organize the content on the eShop for you. And these will be some of these could be very well be typical, like Virtual Console. They could have a separate section for that, or hot releases, or sports, or games for 4 players. They even had one that was games that start with W, with a big old picture of Wario on it. It all looked pretty custom, like that they had some pretty decent control over, what you saw on those things, and they seem serious. They seem like they mean it, man. I apologize for I probably sound stuffed up. It is allergy season around here, and as soon as I get home, I get all stuffed up because I have trees here, and I have, I have a lawn, and this is what I get for living in the suburbs, I guess. I'm actually looking forward to going to E3 next week in Los Angeles, where there is nothing green, and I will probably be completely fine. But for now, sniffly. Back to the eShop. They will be able to attach screenshots and videos to the games. So when you go to a page in the shop for a product, you could very well look at screenshots, which will cover both the top and bottom screen, and the screenshots could very well be in 3D as well, or videos, which will just show on the top screen, and those can also be in 3D. So you'll be able to preview releases that way. They are bringing ratings to the platform via this. You can kind of go to Club Nintendo, and I think you can do this on the Wii also, can't you? I'm not asking you. You can nod your head if you like, but anyway, after you've played a game for an hour, and this includes retail games, I guess, as well. These will be represented here. You can take a brief survey and rate the game, and they will keep track of those sorts of ratings. So those ratings will be displayed alongside games in the shop when you go shopping for them. And I really like the idea of not letting people rate games until they've played it for at least an hour. That's other platforms out there with these kind of digital content things let you just rate things willy-nilly, and it's stupid. It's a dumb idea. And everything, all the ratings are inflated. People don't know how to use a 5-star scale, is basically what I'm saying. I can teach them a thing or two by rating that stuff. You will be able to search. That's right. There will be 2 ways to search. There'll be a button kind of right on the shop on every single page. You can pop it up in a little text entry box. It'll show up. And you can type in what you want to find. And not only that doesn't just include game names. So you don't just type in my and then notebook. You could just type in notebook, and anything that's been keyworded with notebook throughout the entire shop might be returned to you. So you could search for shooting or Mario or things like that, and you'll get meaningful results for those. If you want to do advanced searches on that scroll to the left bit of it, they will have an advanced search there. So you could the example I was given was, what if you want to search for Mario but only in puzzle games? So advanced searching sounds like a solid solution for one of the major problems with the current offering on the DSi, which is that it's impossible to find anything. So that seems solid. That seems like a good inclusion. Of course, the release of the eShop also means that the release of the system transfer tool will happen, and this will let you transfer purchases from DSi and DSi XL systems over to a 3DS. And how this will work is I don't have the full breakdown on how it's exactly going to work, but basically there will be an app for in the DSiWare shop. There will be a transfer app that you will download to your DSi, and you will run it. And then at that point, you will go to your 3DS, and it already has the button in there for system transfer. That button will do something now after this firmware update, and it will transfer the products from one system to the other, removing them from the other system. So this is not a bootleg. You can't go bootlegging with this thing. Don't worry. It's gonna just put them all on your 3DS, and this will work for multiple systems. So if you bought a DSi XL and also a DSi, and you have purchases spread across multiple devices, you can transfer them all over to one 3DS. Transferring from 3DS to 3DS will not be possible at this time. It's something they are, if people want that, it seems like they are open to developing that if it's something that becomes necessary down the line. Like when they release another 3DS with better battery life. Let's see. Talked about the ratings. Yeah. Talked about Excitebike. Yeah. They are using dollars and cents now. And that's, yeah, you will not buy 3DS points. And points will not transfer over in the system transfer process. Any existing points will have to be spent on that system and then transferred over if you want to do that. But there will be some tie-in to your Club Nintendo account. You will sync those, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how that process will work, but for purchasing games, you will earn coins toward your Club Nintendo membership. So if you want to get Hanafuda cards or whatever it is they're offering now, I never get enough points, and I get we get a lot of stuff for free, and I enter the codes for that whenever I remember to, and I still don't end up with enough to get anything cool. That, and I keep forgetting to spend them on anything. So there's that. Yeah. Like a pull-up tab when you're on kind of a page for a product, you can kind of wheel this tab up, and they've got text there describing it that seemed relatively slick. There's a ticker that'll go across the bottom, and it'll show kind of the most popular, like 5 most popular games and 5 most popular searches. So, you can tap on those and go to those search results or go to that game or whatever if you're just kind of interested in seeing what's popular. That's available to you. And then let's talk about the games themselves. Excitebike, of course, will be free. There will also be a handful of virtual console releases, which I have to take some umbrage, not necessarily loving the name virtual console in this case, because portables are not consoles, and selling original Game Boy games. You don't sell those in a virtual console. There should be virtual handheld or virtual Game Boy or something. Virtual Game Boy. I think that name's taken. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily fit, but you will be able to purchase 3 original Game Boy games at launch, and it's kind of neat. It almost seems like they're going in something resembling chronological order. Super Mario Land will be the flagship Game Boy release. That's I actually really like that game. It's a little short, I will say. I actually went back and played it relatively recently, within the last 12 months probably. And it's not the longest game in the world, but it's pretty good. The music's outstanding. I love the music in Super Mario Land. Alleyway, which is kind of a breakout clone, and Radar Mission, which is Battleship from the looks of things. I don't remember Radar Mission, but those will be available for a few bucks a piece. I think Super Mario Land might actually cost a little bit more than Alleyway or Radar Mission, which makes some sense because I don't remember either of those games being particularly good. Well, I don't remember. I actually don't remember Radar Mission at all. Alleyway, I don't know. That's okay. You will be able to save states in these games. In these emulated games. So if you which not all the games had originally, and that could come in handy. And I found it interesting. One of the game they cited in terms of just like, hey, what would benefit from that is something like Kid Icarus, which Kid Icarus is not a portable game, and they haven't really said that NES games are coming. Which I don't take to mean that that's immediately in the works, because if I had to guess, they've talked very, very specifically about like, well, we're going to be selling Game Boy games and Game Gear games, and kind of sticking to mostly portable stuff for this. I think TurboGrafx might be the one thing that is on both, but they're not doing a great deal of duplication between the Wii's Virtual Console releases and the stuff that's come on DSiWare, and I guess there hasn't really been any DSiWare Virtual Console, has there? Man, drawing a blank. And this stuff, and I suspect it's because there's no way to transfer. I think that they are. If I'm guessing, and I don't have anything really to back this up, but if I'm guessing, I think that they're not going to put you in a position to buy the same Virtual Console game twice, if they can help it, across the Wii and the 3DS or the Nintendo's next console platform. Which leads me to believe that when Nintendo releases its next console platform, I bet I will put some Brad dollars down on this, that when that thing comes out, you will be able to transfer your Virtual Console games and your other WiiWare purchases to that device. And at that point, they will have completely merged your account information across the 3DS and whatever the new console is. Potentially leading to a situation where your Virtual Console purchases could work in both locations. Or consider this. Consider that the next Nintendo platform has a touch screen as a part of its controller. Consider the notion that maybe DS games could be played on this device using the controller as the bottom screen and your television as the top screen. Potentially DSiWare releases could be played this way. Which is handy because I know there are a lot of situations where I need to take down some notes and all I have in front of me is a television and video game consoles. And if I had some sort of notebook-like program, this would be, this problem would be solved. This would be the end of it. Game over for note-taking. I did actually ask if it would be possible, considering they are able to program the eShop, around anything like if they like I said, games that start with W or games that have Mario in them or sports games or whatever. That yes, if they desired to do it, it is within their power to create a tab on the store that links to all of the My Notebook games. This is a shelf they could create in the eShop if they so chose to do so. Fast access. Bundle pricing and things like that, not available out of the gate here. It's not something that's part of the initial offering, but they did say, it's if that sort of stuff is what's going to get people interested in digital downloads, which I think it could very well help, then that would be something that they wouldn't be opposed to looking into. They seemed very open to, like doing right by developers, doing right by consumers with this shop. They are talking a good game about this, even if it doesn't necessarily have a complete feature set of some other download service that has a keyboard or a mouse, like stuff like that. Steam jerks. Even if it's not as fully featured as Steam, which I've been playing. So that's Dirt 3. Dirt 3's on Steam. I don't know. You want to talk about Steam? There's some stuff on Steam. That Portal 2, pretty good. You should check it out. I mean, it's downloadable. It's not for a Nintendo platform, but it's, if you play around, if all you care about is downloads and not, maybe check it out. Maybe check it out. It's pretty incredible. It's a shame it's not on 3DSware is what I'm saying. So I bet they could probably do a pretty good Portal 2 on a 3DS, probably. They seem open to making changes to the service after this initial release. But this initial release definitely seems like it is a step in the right direction compared to what they've done in the past. They're not adding new payment methods. American Express card holders. They will not store your payment details at this time. You will have to enter that credit card every time you want to purchase some dollars and cents. And, given the way that credit card information has potentially been flying around these days, I guess I can't say that I blame them. So Excitebike, this isn't just the NES game with a few layers of 3D kind of hastily thrown in there. They actually did some work to it. And it is still the NES game with layers of 3D, but it looks like they have done real work to it. The 3D actually looks very nice, and when you turn the slider all the way up, the perspective really changes and pulls back to the point where you can see the sky. And when you turn the slider all the way down, it actually kind of just becomes a widescreen version of Excitebike. And they have made changes to it to allow you to save the tracks that you're editing, which you couldn't do on the original NES cartridge. Famicom Disk System, of course, would be able to handle that, and you'd be able to store those tracks on a disc. But that won't be an issue here. No discs, just flash memory, boy. Flash memory. Let's talk about what actually matters. I know this is all fun and games. Talking about these downloads, this eShop, but let's talk about the things that actually matter. And that's the music. The music is serene, I would describe it. I didn't get to hear a whole lot of it. For a while there, I thought they weren't going to allow us to hear it because they had the volume turned down. There was a silent demo for a large chunk of the time. And then they said, "Any questions?" I said, What's the music, man?" And they turned it right up. I got to hear some of that. It did not initially grab me like the Wii Shop music and the DSi Shop music did. But like I said, didn't hear a ton of it. So withholding judgment for now. Did not get to see the animation that plays when you download something, but it was described. I guess like a bucket or a beaker or some sort of cup device will appear, and a clothesline will go overhead, and jelly beans will be kind of clotheslined in and dropped into the bucket, and the bucket will slowly fill up, giving you a progress indicator of the download as it goes. The icon for the game will be on the front of it, and there'll be a shopping bag character kind of running around all crazy. Again, I haven't seen this, so I'm going off their description. They could have just been messing with me. I'd mess with me. And eventually it will fill up and turn into the present that you're already used to, kind of open the present to release the game onto your system. And it'll be launched in the way you would expect, on that home screen there. That's full of, got all those empty slots on it ready for you to fill up with eShop stuff. They're saying over 350 pieces of content will be available, and this is including the vast majority of the DSiWare release list Said there were maybe like 10 games that weren't coming over, and they were working on getting those over eventually. But though you won't be able to transfer those, I imagine, if you've purchased them, and the transfer tool probably just won't work, if I had to guess. So there'll be plenty of stuff there on day one. Lots of great hits from Lexus Numerique and and Shinen, the heavy hitters of the DSiWare shop. And yeah. Oh, you'll save a penny on everything because everything's being lowered to like $1.99 instead of $2. So instead of 200 points, you're now effectively, getting a break on everything. It'll be 199 points now, I suppose. I might miss points. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about dollars and cents. It's dollars and cents makes sense. You can quote me on that. So yeah, that is rolling out Monday, and by the time you're hearing this, we have a full story. One Patrick Klepek came with me, and he's got a story up on giantbomb.com, which is a website about video games. About some of these same details, and they're going to release some screenshots of some of this stuff, and we'll have some of that up. And there's probably already been an announcement out. I guess the announcement out of Japan is supposed to be coming any time now. It's Wednesday night as I record this, and that'll be hitting. And then the U.S. will make some sort of announcement, and then at 10 a.m. we'll have our chance to talk about what we saw, which included, by the way, Pokédex 3D. I don't know, this leaked out. I don't know where this came from. We tried to trace it back and got as far as like some Spanish language site, so it's not surprising. This will be a free release for the eShop, and it is an interactive Pokédex holding the 150, or is it 151, 150? The new Pokemon from Black and White will be contained in this. It is not the full catalog. It is not Coughing. It is not Psyduck. Caterpie. It's not the full run. It's the recent ones, and this will be an interactive Pokédex, which looked really fully featured. They've got all new, cool looking art. Polygonal renders of each one of these Pokemon, and they'll animate. You can throw apples at them to make them animate. You can hear their cries. As you'd expect, that sort of stuff. There will also be some AR functionality. They will have different glyphs, different little, printouts that you can get or find them in magazines or whatever it ends up being, that you can put out on a table, and that Pokemon will pop out of it, and you can, circle around them and do that sort of stuff. There'll be a picture mode, so you can kind of take a picture of someone. This is the example they gave, is you can take a picture of someone, then see a transparent version of it, and then get your AR card out, get the Pokemon to pop out of it, then position that Pokemon where you want it over the picture you just took. So if you want to put a Pokemon on someone's shoulder or something like that, you can composite pictures together like that. One of the cool things I thought is it's it's very interactive. Like, you can click on attacks that a Pokemon will have, and it will pop up a list of all the Pokemon that share that attack. On these Pokemon pages, it'll show you like what level they evolve. It'll show you every single attack they can get from HMs and TMs, like all the different stuff that you can put on those dudes. You can, save a team, and for quick access, you can kind of, save attacks and kind of bookmark them. So if there's things that you want to look at again and again. And also, it's not going to be, you're going to have to unlock, you're going to have to catch them all, in some sense. Basically, you will be able to get 3 Pokemon out of Spot Pass per day. So over the internet, you will be able to pull that stuff out. It doesn't have Street Pass functionality, which I was surprised. It seemed like that would be a good way to trade Pokemon with people, but that is instead a manual process. So if you run into someone who has a Pokedex and you want to exchange information, you can send them the ones you've unlocked and vice versa. To to kind of help complete your catalog. There's also, of course, the AR cards for each individual Pokemon. So when you get a look at these and see what they look like, you will see that it will be very easy to duplicate these and print them out and do stuff. But scanning in these AR cards doesn't necessarily mean that you get them immediately. The catch is that if you have scanned in one if you look at an AR card that you haven't unlocked, it will instead increase the chances that you will get that one via Spot Pass. So next time you Spot Pass, next time Nintendo sends you some more Pokemon, it's more likely that you'll get that one. It looked really nice. It wasn't, it's not a game, obviously, but for a free thing, it looked very detailed, like the sort of stuff that doesn't even necessarily show in the game all the time. The levels they mutate at, what they mutate into, all that sort of stuff. Like really well done, and very linky, very interactive, very like click on this to see more about this, and okay, it evolves into this, but what is this? Click on that, get info about it. It's got the text from both black and white in there, the descriptive text, showing that stuff off, and all the different stats. What type they are, what egg something or other. I have to admit, I don't know very much about black and white, but it seemed pretty cool, especially for a free thing. So be on the lookout for that. Another big change. This is gonna change everything. This is as you are probably aware, we here at the Express have been revamping things under the hood. We have been gone for a few weeks now, partially waiting for this information to come out and see how it would change things. And I'm a little glad that we haven't necessarily set things in stone, because Nintendo release day is moving to Thursdays for everything. 3DS stuff will be hitting on Thursdays. DSiWare will be hitting on Thursdays. WiiWare will be hitting on Thursdays. They are still going to put out information on Mondays for the Thursday releases. And I was told that the nature of the information they give out will be changing. I was also told that this was not because of this podcast that they are changing this, which I do believe. I suspect that might mean that we might be near the end of these paragraphs of text about these products in these press releases. That it's going to be video now, because they are looking to attach video to every single piece of content. When the eShop launches, you'll be able to go into a lot of the DSiWare releases and find video. In a lot of cases, they've already taken video and all that. In some cases, they've recorded some new stuff specifically for this, gotten some new screenshots. So the Nintendo press release might be growing up on us before our very eyes. I don't know what this means for us, for everyone, for the world. This is heavy hitting stuff. If they get that information out there, then maybe we don't need a podcast about these downloads. Maybe they're finally going to do the job themselves and cut me out of the loop. Maybe I'm obsolete. Maybe this is an obsolete podcast. I just don't know what to think about anything anymore. But like I said, we are open to change here at the Express. We've already taken some steps to make some pretty heavy changes to this thing for the future. And we're going to wait and see how that stuff goes with Nintendo before we decide what shape the show will take going forward. But they haven't made that change yet. Let's talk about this week's releases for WiiWare and DSiWare. Some heavy hitters this week. Let me tell you, we are going to start with WiiWare. Out this week is Fast Racing League. That's capital F-A-S-T, all caps, hyphen, Racing League. From Shinan Multimedia, 1 to 4 players, rated E for everyone, 1,000 Wii points TM, which is $10, $9.99. That's $9.99 in the world in which we are about to live. In the year 2112, the masses are fascinated by extreme high-speed races. You know what? I will stop you right there. In the year 2011, the masses are fascinated by extreme high-speed races. Don't wait. Give us extreme high-speed racing now. The latest anti-gravity racing technology introduced phase shifting. All right, well, that's okay. That we might have to wait till 2112 for. I'll give you that. Only a year that is also a palindrome could give us such heavy-hitting technology. Perfectly phase-matching tracks and racing machines is the key to survival. Prepare yourself for a whole new racing experience at breakneck speeds. Push your skills to the limit to win races and beat records. Challenge your friends to an all-out split-screen competition. What? Oh, it's WiiWare. Okay, I'm sorry. That's totally flipping out there. Like, what? WiiWare? How would I do split-screen on the... You got to hold the right part of the... DS and all right. I'm in handheld city, man. This Wii thing. What is this? This Wii's obsolete. In less than a week, we will know what's next. Man, that's crazy. Compete against ruthless opponents and race to the top of all leagues. Warm up your engines. The future is now. Also out on WiiWare this week is Bit Trip Void demo version. This is a demo, so this is a free version of the game that is available for sale on the store. Demo policy not necessarily changing. They are not going to be doing 3DS demos, not necessarily doing demos for every release or anything like that. So that's kind of staying as is. Bit Trip Void demo version from Axis Games, 1 to 4 players, rated E for everyone, 0 Wii points. That means it's free. But the full version is available for 600 Wii points. Bit Trip Void. It's all caps. Bit period trip. No space there. It's not proper. Void. The space between trip and void, but not between bit and trip. There's a period there. It's just, that doesn't make any sense. Is the third installment in the retro arcade Bit Trip saga. Bit Trip Void is a synesthetic exploration of rhythm and music as they pertain to our everyday lives and moods. In a control scheme that's new to the series, yet wholly familiar to gamers, players are given complete freedom to move about the screen wherever they desire and interact with their music in new ways. The classic gameplay aesthetic remains. Color and the absence of color are explored to the fullest. Trip out in 4-player co-op and get lost in the beat with a friend. See if you can survive the onslaught of beats and further your own bit trip. Freaking hippies. God. That drink is empty. A virtual console release this week, which I think is a great choice. I think that there's a, I don't know if this was something that they, if this was something that was deliberately lined up, then I have to say kudos to whoever is making these selections for kind of being up on things and up on what's been happening. Because the virtual console release this week is Super Adventure Island, originally for the Super Nintendo. Hudson Entertainment, 1 player, rated E for everyone, mild cartoon violence, 800 Wii points. Adventure Island is a mysterious and beautiful land that has many hidden dangers. The hero of the island, Master Higgins, protects the inhabitants from many deadly creatures. He has restored peace to the uncharted island on many occasions, but something terrible has happened. While Master Higgins and Genie Jungle were stargazing, a dangerous entity known only as Dark Cloak turned Genie to stone. Master Higgins must venture toward Dark Cloak's castle at the foot of Ice Mountain to rescue her. So there's a guy who worked for Hudson for years and years and years that they referred to as Master Higgins. And he became like the figurehead. He was the president of the company there, I guess. I want to make sure I get this right here. Toshiyuki Takahashi, who went by Takahashi Maijin. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but Master Takahashi. 16 shot, they also called him. He was an icon in gaming because he could push a button 16 times in 1 second. That's why they called him 16 shot. And they threw him into ads. They were coming out with devices that just measured how fast you could push a button. They would sell these. Hudson, I guess, would sell these. And now I'd really like to have one, actually, now that I think about it. And it's just an LED readout and some buttons in the basic shape of like a Famicom controller. He worked for Hudson, and he's kind of the guy. He's like Master Higgins is kind of like sort of put into the game. Like, they thought that maybe that Master Higgins looked a little bit like him, so they, said, hey, that's who this is, and kind of, so he's the guy in the game. And that's pretty cool. And, he was at Hudson for years and years and years. Of course, Hudson's kind of going away. They were picked up by Konami a while ago. And, the brand will probably live on in some form. I imagine that Bomberman games, will still say Hudson on them. And, of course, this release for Virtual Console still will say Hudson on it. But it's for kind of all intents and purposes, it's Konami, and he's leaving the company. This is something that just kind of, it's kind of been coming for a little while, but he just is now no longer there. So kind of end of an era for Hudson, for game development, for Japanese game development. So sad in a way, but it's the business moves on, I guess, is the lesson there. It's no one's position is safe forever, especially when you are not in control your own company anymore. If it's you owned by Konami, they're gonna make some changes at some point. So it's sad. It's sad. And it's great that they're putting out Super Adventure Island this week. I think that's cool. Be interested to know if whoever chooses this stuff, had some sort of knowledge of this going on and wanted to get this one out there. DSiWare, let's talk about it. 3 releases. And, I don't even know. All right. We've got House MD Globetrotting from Legacy Interactive, 1 player, rated T for team for drug reference and sexual themes, 800 Nintendo DSi points. Is this like House, like the TV show? I gotta... Whenever a patient is dying and no one can find any answers, the elite diagnostic medicine department at Princeton Plainsboro Hospital must follow all leads to uncover the truth. Patients and family members lie to protect their own peculiar secrets, and the most unlikely clues sometimes can lead to answers. Dr. Gregory House, okay, there you go, and his team race to unravel a new medical mystery. An aging TV host seems to care less about his own health than his fame and reputation. Track down the correct diagnosis by interviewing and examining the patient, running lab tests, and even performing surgery. Every piece of evidence reveals part of the solution, so careful observation and analysis are key. The clock is ticking. Be prepared for multiple twists and turns as you solve the case. Licensed products on DSiWare from licenses that I've heard of. This is a landmark week, truly, for the service. B-Team, Episode 1, Dust and Steel. Dust and Steel. That's all right. That's a winning combination. From Subdued Software, 1 player, rated E10 plus. Use of tobacco, violence, 800 Nintendo DSi points. B-Team. That's so it's B-Team. No hyphen between B and Team, but a hyphen between B-Team and Episode 1, and then a colon between Episode 1 and Dust and Steel, and it's an ampersand. Dust and Steel. B-Team Episode 1 Destined Steel is a humorous, action-packed, squad-based shooter. That is... alright. In which players control a small private army whose soldiers were hired from all over the world. Lead your platoon through an onslaught of commandos, voodoo warriors, dangerous guerrillas, and that's just the beginning. That's guerrillas, G-U-E. So, men with guns, not monkeys. When the action gets too intense to manage on your own, hook up with a friend in multiplayer mode to battle your way through the bullets. While intense action is the game's chief focus, its multiple weapons, upgradable equipment, and destructible environment further enrich the experience. That to me sounds like a top-down, dual joystick sort of shooter, if I had to guess. I'm just guessing. It's probably not even that, but it sounds like Gun Bros or something. It's a phone game. For phones. And third up, closing out the week, with a bullet. Valet Parking 1989 from Zordix AB. One player, E10 plus, mild language, mild violence, suggestive themes, 500 Nintendo DSi points. Valet Parking 1989 combines fun driving with the humorous style of the late 1980s. Park and deliver cars as fast as possible in this time management puzzle game. The setting is California, where glamorous celebrities let you park their radical sports cars and luxurious limousines. Play the movie-like story mode to unlock levels for endless play. Earn money to buy a cool car and drive it to the beach in style. Don't let the VIP guests wait any longer. Put on your vest and push the pedal to the metal. Yeah. You know, I think we'd all like to go back to the time when valet parking was king. The late 1980s. Man, I mean, you couldn't... I mean, I was into it. Everyone was into it. Everyone was into valet parking. Especially here in California. That's all we did. Sometimes I would valet park cars at my house, just, you know, for funsies. I had a vest, you know, it's like we all did. We all had vests. Then 1990 came around and everyone decided they were going to grow sideburns, and Jason Priestley ruined it all. Then valets weren't cool anymore. They weren't indie enough. It sucked. 1989, man, that's when valet parking was valet parking. And I'm just glad that that Zordix can take us back to this time. Now, there's a video out for valet parking 1989 that you can find on giantbomb.com, and it's a developer diary where the developers at Zordix spend 2.5 minutes or so talking about valet parking 1989. I just want to say that you should go watch that video. You should seek that out. And get a look at this for yourself, and listen to the men behind this this product tell you about this product. Listen to them. Listen to what they have to say about valet parking in 1989. I think you'll be interested in hearing what they have to say. And that's it. That's it for this week's releases. I mean, there's you know, there have been a handful of releases here. You know, Puzzle Quest is out now on DSi. 99 Bullets 3D Twist and Match. Overflow on WiiWare. Chrono Trigger. That's out on Virtual Console now. Wow. Big Bass Arcade. Some kind of fishing game, I imagine, with speakers. It must be like you're fishing up subwoofers. I don't know. I'm not going to read the whole description here, but I like bass. I like bass music. I like it when it throws for blocks. That's when I like it. Hello Kids, Volume 1, Coloring and Painting. It's a little Hello Kidsy. Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove, Monster Hits. I don't know. Lead the Meerkats demo version. Yeah, so, you know, past few weeks, they've got some stuff out. And June 25th is Street Pass Day. This is a this is a really weird press release for Street Pass Day, because they're kind of saying, hey, it's the day to Street Pass with people with your 3DS. Nintendo of America has created a Meetup Everywhere community that people can use to organize their own local Street Pass themed meetups and social gatherings. Asterisk at the bottom. Meetup events are neither sponsored nor endorsed by Nintendo. So, for example, if you were to get stabbed by someone you communicated with at a social gathering designed to exchange Street Passes, Nintendo is not sponsoring or endorsing this event. That's, yeah. I can't say I blame them for saying that here. And I'm looking around here, so it actually pops up areas around me here, meetups potentially around me. Berkeley, 3 Nintendo 3DS fans. Windsor, 2 Nintendo 3DS fans. And that's it. The rest are stuff like, be the first in this community, or this community is just getting started. Well, he's just like, all right, then it lists people's names here. 19 in New York, 17 in Mexico City, 12 in Los Angeles, 8 in Sao Paulo. Yeah, man, I have not had a random Street Pass yet. I've gone to, events for video game industry, like stuff, and have gotten them there, but no randoms on the street, nothing, zero, zilch, zip, pow, nothing. And yeah, that's I guess maybe that's why they're saying, hey, come to this website and maybe you can maybe you can get near enough to some people to see how this thing works, because there's some games that use it in really cool ways, but you're probably never going to know that if you don't. Oh, man. Come on, America. Why can't you all just ride trains? That's going to do it for this special edition of the Nintendo Download Express. Thank you for listening. We will return at some point in the future once Nintendo has made its change. Once they have moved to Thursdays, and kind of we can wrap our minds around the changes that they are making to their schedule, and we're going to make some changes around here as well. And the show is not going to come back until those changes get made in a satisfactory way. That might sound ambiguous, but yeah, some things in the works here. So until then, the train is heading out of your station, and we'll be back.